you were adopted from Korea
Right.
to an African American family.
Right.
How was that experience for you?
Well, because I came when I was only 3 years old,
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't have a lot of memory and what I was accustomed to. So when I came here to the United States, and this is what I ate when I was a little child, along with other types of food. Because besides cooking soul food, my parents also had many other different types of cuisine because my dad was actually a chef.
Mm.
And so he cooked many varieties of more traditional American food. Plus, he cooked Italian food, Mexican food, and my mom's parents were actually from New Orleans. So they, again, that's where they came from, where they cooked soul food, all the time, and a great variety of it. So, I was very fortunate to have many different types of food when I was a kid, but
Right.
this is
This
the
is
one I
mainly-
remember
right.
the most.
It touches your soul.
Right, exactly.
Literally.
Like when I eat the red beans and rice, it just brings back memories of childhood.
Speaking of childhood, I want to hear the story of how you guys met, because the version that I heard is that you were getting beaten up,
Yeah. So
and he saved you.
he was a leader of one of the gangs at the time, and there were other leaders also, and but he just was different. He's a good person, very good person. And there was one time where we were in junior high at the time, and there was some other kids just trying to whoop on me, and they were chasing me across the yard. And T was sitting up on the bleachers where he always was. And as I went running by with these guys just running after me, T looks over and kind of says, "Hey, Neil." So I knew it was T, so I turned around and said, "Yeah, T." And he looked back at the guys, and the guys stopped too. And T said, "Are you okay?"
Oh.
And I looked back at the guys, and they were kind of like, and they were kind of trying to leave the area.
They were scared.
Yeah. And so I turned back to T and I said, "I think I'm okay." And so then they were gone. And so
just like that.
Just like that.
He didn't even have to do anything.
No, it was just him saying.
Such charisma.
Yeah, exactly. So like I said, I knew different gang news, but T was he's a good person, and even way back then.
You know what's funny? Children will play with anybody,
Right.
until their parents or somebody says, "Don't play with."
Yeah.
My mom raised me to accept everybody. Now, the other dynamic is that Emil is an amazing academician. I am a pure practitioner. And when you put an amazing academician and a pure practitioner together, you've got 360 degrees of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding.
So you guys are complete with each other. So Emil, you experienced African American and Korean culture. So in your opinion, what are the similarities and differences between two cultures?
Well, the similarities to begin with is both cultures want the best for their kids.
Right.
The Korean culture wants that. The African American black culture wants that. So they both share that, and they both share a strong sense of family. Korean families are very tight, even though sometimes they separated by the ocean because some parts come here to the United States. They're frequently going back home. They're always talking to each other. And the same thing with the black families. They do the same thing. Very tight, very close knit. And it's just something that you can't break that bond and with distance or time.
Right.
So that's something that both cultures share. Some of the things that are different, just kind of thinking about it. There's you almost hate to say it, but the stereotypical differences that come up. Koreans tend to be not so conversive.
Bad drivers.
Right. Yeah. No. There's another Asian culture that takes that title, but we won't get into that one. But you know, Koreans, you know, aren't as outwardly expressive.
Right.
You know, they tend to be more quiet. African American culture is, you know, much more expressive of feelings,
Right.
you know, of greetings and everything like that. You know, and that's part of some of the misunderstanding that came to a head with the, you know, 1992 riots. Is that, you know, two different cultures didn't really understand each other, and neither meant to offend each other, but it happened because there just wasn't that understanding between the two and the differences that existed. And so, you know, fortunately what we see today is there's a lot more bridge building, relationship building between, you know, the Black and African American culture and the Korean community. So that's very, you know, that's a very positive direction for us all.
Right. I think those fried chicken can be one of the bridges.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
We all love fried
Every
chicken.
Korean event
Yeah,
has fried
we're so
chicken.
obsessed with fried chicken.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
thanks.
and I hate to say this, Koreans love watermelon. African Americans love watermelon. So fried chicken and watermelon, two cultures come together.
Okay, I have to ask.
Right quick. There's one thing that is universal. Food,
Food.
and music.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that is very.
Yeah. Learning about another culture is probably one of the best things about being and living in Los Angeles. And today we brought you to see and witness what soul food is. And unfortunately, we can't tell you what it tastes like, but it's good. So take every chance you have to meet someone, learn something about another culture, try their food, because we're just in the one place in the world where everyone is here together.
So, I mean, with that, exercise and understand the art of communication. One talks, the other listens, and then vice versa. I talk, he listens. That is the definition of the art of communication. That has to be done on a firm foundation of just listening. The greatest thing that you can do for another human being is just listen to him. It doesn't cost you anything. And just by listening, you may even save somebody's life.
Soul food.
Love, peace, and soul.
지금까지 이 흑인 문화의 이렇게 다양한 모습을 보여드렸는데요. 정말 지리적으로 가깝게 살면서도 알지 못하는 부분이 많다는 것을 느꼈습니다. 다시 한번 LA는 이렇게 배우고 방문할 곳이 많은 곳이란 걸 느끼면서요. 지금까지 저는 완소 LA 레나였고요. 저희는 다음 주에 더욱 재미있고 유익한 정보로 찾아뵙겠습니다.